So thank you for joining me once again. More stress management, my favorite topics to both practice and teach. Um, and I just wanted to reiterate, you already know that I believe the main two reasons for learning and practicing these techniques are really because stress creates muscular tension that can lead to pain, whether it's acute or chronic pain. And two is that it creates inflammation in the body that can turn into chronic inflammation. And as we age, our the body's ability to regulate that inflammatory process significantly decreases, right? So more susceptible to a compromised immune system and failure also of other systems. So it's definitely, stress is now a universal precursor for disease. So keeping that in mind, not to be dark, but these techniques, as simple as they are, when practiced, are really helpful to manage stress. And a little goes a long way if you integrate them into your lives weekly. So, with that said, sit up nice and tall. You can sit on a blanket or a block against a wall. Relax the hands on the legs, turn the palms up. And then slightly lean back. So bring the shoulders in line over the hips. And balance the crown of the head directly over the spine. Close the eyes. And just breathe normally without trying to control or breathe in any special way. Breathe normal and begin to notice your breath. Just as you arrive here and now into the body, into the space. Slowly making your transition from the rest of your home, from the rest of your day, whatever else was going on this past weekend. Beginning to watch the breath, just the gentle rise and fall. Even perhaps noticing the quality of the breath. And how does it feel moving in through the nostrils and moving out? And as you begin to focus attention on the breath, if there are thoughts lingering or continuously popping in and out of the mind, simply acknowledge them. In a way, let them know you see them. And then gently push them off to the side. Now clearing the mind so that it can be a little bit more free from having to hold on to anything. Just watch the breath. Begin to let your awareness, your pure conscious presence, ride the wave of breath as it moves in through the nostrils, and as it flows back out. If there are any parts of the body now that feel tight or are holding on to resistance, direct your breath to those spaces. Just letting that touch of breath come and linger into all areas that need a release. Letting go of whatever is within your reach this moment. Now, begin to consciously deepen your in-breaths and lengthen your out-breaths. Feeling the expansion of the abdomen and the lungs as you deeply inhale. Perhaps feeling the release, the sense of cleansing with every exhale, letting go. Together we'll take about 3 rounds of these cleansing breaths. Wherever you are, go ahead and exhale all the air out of your system, empty it out. And inhale deeply in through your nose. Pause at the top. Open the mouth now and exhale it all out. Letting go stresses of today, yesterday. Release. 2 more, the same manner. The full body inhale in through the nose. Pausing at the top before opening the mouth to let it go, even with a ha or Release. Good. Last time with a full body inhale in through the nose, breathing in that oxygen of energy and nourishment, and then opening your mouth to exhale any depleted energy, stagnant breath. Let it out. You continue to breathe and just bring the palms together towards the heart center. Let it be as if the breath eventually opens your eyes. Now softly gazing down and forward, always moving slow and mindfully with this practice so that we notice more, stay present, stay safe, backing off of anything that doesn't feel right. With your next inhale, slowly extend the arms above head, gently stretching through the sides of the waist and the chest, then the arms. And with an exhale right away, start to twist to the right, lowering the hands down all the way to the floor. Twisting from the base of the spine up through the back of the neck, but not forcing or pushing the body into any position. Continue to breathe here, allowing the breath naturally moving through the nostrils and into the spaces of the spine, abdomen, and then move back out in reverse. One more deep inhale. You lengthen taller up through your spine. And with an exhale, release. And back to neutral, palms to the heart. With an in-breath, again, lengthen and extend your arms above head, stretching through the sides of the body and the arms. And then with a nice slow exhale, twist to the left, lowering the hands to the floor. Trying to keep an upright spine. Breathing fully and continue to witness the natural rise and fall of breath. And even if you want, directing the breath now to all spaces that might be feeling a little tight in the lower back, upper back, or shoulders. As we start to mindfully move, notice the breath can be used as a gentle tool for finding a deeper pose, finding small inner movements. One more inhale, again, lifting tall through the spine. And then exhale, return to center. This time with an inhale, sweep the left arm around and up, turning the palm inward. And as you exhale, bend at the elbow. Point the elbow up towards the sky. Keep breathing. Do the best you can to relax the shoulder heads. So drop the tops of the shoulders down away from your ears. Gently begin to press the left hand in between the shoulder blades. Continue to breathe and extend the right arm out. Flip the palm backwards and then bend at the elbow and reach the fingertips up the spine, maybe touching the fingertips of your top hand, maybe not. Just gently pressing both hands into the middle back. Continue to relax the shoulder heads down. Feel the center of the chest lifting and expanding open. Good. One more round of breath. And as you exhale, keep the arms here and just tuck the chin down. Let the head hang heavy. With your next inhale, nice and slow, float the head back to neutral. And exhale, release the arms. Maybe shake them out a little. Getting right into it. So really provoking some energetic movement with those pretty deep arm and shoulder stretches. Energy now moving to and from the heart center into the arms. With your next in-breath, sweep your right arm around and up, turning the palm inwards, so creating that sort of an internal rotation from the shoulder. And then bend at the elbow, exhale. Point the elbow up towards the ceiling. Gently press the hand into the upper back or the space between your shoulder blades. Relax the tops of the shoulders down. And just gaze forward. So now keeping the back of the neck pretty neutral. And then when you're ready, extend the left arm out to the side, palm forward. So first we're creating length from the heart center out through the fingertips. Really stretch the arm. And then turn the palm backwards. Keep breathing. Bend the elbow. And then reach the fingertips up the spine. Now pressing both hands into the spaces of upper back. Maybe the fingertips touch or even clasp with each other, maybe not. Keep breathing. Lifting up tall through the spine. And feeling as if the center, the very center of the sternum also continues to rise. With your next exhale, just tuck the chin down. Let the head hang. Breathing into the back spaces of the skull, back spaces of the neck. And the shoulders soft. And then inhale, float the head back to neutral. And relax, exhale, lowering the arms back down, shake them out a little bit. Just keep breathing. Move right away into some shoulder rolls. Rotation through the shoulder cuff joint. You can go in either direction, that feels right a few times. And then the opposite direction. And maybe the movement is super slow today. Maybe it synchronizes with your breath. And sometimes it's nice to close the eyes. It helps to sort of hone your attention inward. Gather up some of that sensory feedback. What's going on? Just a couple more breaths wherever you are. Remember to rotate in the opposite direction. Keeping a nice tall spine. And with your next exhale, release and relax. Pausing for a moment. And reestablish an inner lift. Once again, grow tall through the spine, reach up through the crown of the head. It's a really small inner expansion, top of the head, stretching up towards the ceiling. And when you're ready, you're going to do shoulder scrunches up to the ears. With an inhale, scrunch them up. And as you exhale, just drop them down. Let it go. The sigh out of your mouth. 2 more times. Inhale. Scrunch up the shoulders. Exhale. Let it go. Last time. Release. Good. And then take another inhale. With an exhale, gently lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. Slightly tucking the chin down. So the shoulder and neck, as you probably know, are very common areas to hold tension from stress. So these are pretty accessible stretches and movements you can do daily just to help alleviate any buildup, that congestion here. Use your breath. One more inhale. And with an exhale, continue to tuck the chin down and just roll your head to center. So chin down, head center. Let it hang heavy just for a couple breaths. Yeah, and then with an inhale, float the head back to neutral. Then exhale, relax. With an inhale, continue to lengthen through the back body. And then with your exhale, just lower the opposite ear down to the shoulder. Slightly tuck the chin down. Just breathe. And sometimes it's nice to do a little bit of a visual imagery practice where you can visualize your breath as sort of a warm light, glowing light that you can direct into the spaces of muscle, bone, or joints that really need some attention, some release. Allow that light to come in to these spaces, in, around, and through, warming the tissue and letting go any sensations there that aren't going to serve you in this moment. Nice and slow with your next exhale, tuck the chin down even further and just roll the head to center. Let the head hang heavy at center. Chin towards the chest. Couple breaths. You have the option here to interlace the fingers, keeping your head down, chin tucked down towards the chest. Just place your hands interlaced gently towards the base of your skull. So adding just some weight of the arms, let the elbows hang down, but continue to lift through the center of your chest. So we're not rounding the upper back, keeping a nice tall back body, and just adding the weight of the arms to deepen the stretch down the back side of your neck. Try and relax the shoulders. Just a couple more breaths here. Lifting up through the chest. One more inhale. And with an exhale, release the arms. Keep the head hanging down. Then, when you're ready, take an in-breath and float your head back to neutral. And with an exhale, relax. Good. So go slow. Well, that one can be pretty intense sometimes. Make you a little dizzy. So we're going to move slow. I'm going to just turn to the side and extend your legs out. Shake them out a little bit. If you do have a strap, you move into a really gentle forward fold. You're welcome to use a strap, but you don't have to. Keep the feet, the feet are about inner hips width apart, so they're not super wide. Inner hips width, you should be able to see the ankles in line with the knees, in line with the hips, and then begin to flex the feet, soft bend in the knees. Lift up tall, all the way from the base of the spine, middle back, upper back, Reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. Now place the hands just to the sides of your hips, fingertips pointing forward. Roll the shoulders back and down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you lift up through the center of your chest. Continue to breathe and use your next exhale to draw the lower rib cage in, engaging your core. Now actively begin to press down through the hands, lifting the center of the chest a little higher. And if it's available to you, begin to press the heels forward. So energizing forward through the legs. This is called staff pose, Dandasana. So it's an energizing pose, also a gentle heart opener. So releasing any tension that might be trapped across the chest, collarbones. Also building strength, the abdominal section. Just one more breath here. Continue to press down through the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then release. If you have a strap, you can place it around the balls of the feet. And if you don't, no big deal. Rebend the knees. You want a soft bend in the knees at first. Flex the feet. Especially if you just put a strap around the feet. Flex the feet again. Now lift up. Roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, deep inhale into the belly. And then with your exhale, at the end, pull the lower ribs in and begin to hinge at the hip joint to lower the belly towards the thighs. So if you do have a strap, you can kind of use that for some resistance, walking the hands up the strap. Keep the back, so you want to keep your spine neutral and flat. If you feel that there's any rounding happening in the back, then just simply back off. Pretend that there is a fishing string, or one of those clear strings attached to your heart. And someone's pulling on that string, so the heart is continuously lifting, lifting, lifting. Shoulders back and down. It might not feel like a deep forward fold, but it really is. And you're honoring your edge. You're not pushing or forcing anything. Keeping the lower back stable and protected. Just a couple of more breaths. And using the breath as the tool again to find the smallest movement or expansion in various places of the body. Also softening the jaw and the face. And at the end of your next exhale, slowly rise on up, lifting up. Bring the shoulders back over the hips. And just shake out your legs, release the strap if you have one. And now, some ball work. Right, everyone's favorite time of day. Okay, so take your noodle. If you don't have a noodle, remember, all you really need is 2 tennis balls. And if you're sharing this practice with anyone, let them know that. It's really, really simple. 2 balls can be placed on either side of the spine. And in this case, we're going to work the butt cheeks a little, the back of the hips. 1 ball could be under one, the other ball under the other buttock. But if you have your noodle now, place it the wide way underneath the back side of the hips. Plant the feet about hips width apart. Let's take a few moments to adjust yourself as needed, finding a good spot that will offer you some sensation. You do want to feel something. And the more you do this practice, it might take a few more moments to find an area, a certain area that offers you more feedback. You have to go a little bit deeper, or Just be patient and move the ball around, the noodle around a little bit more until you find a spot. And then relax your arms off to the side, palms turned up. Maybe close the eyes. Just give in to that downward weight, natural movement of gravity now, seeping into the body, into the bones, allowing you to get heavy on top of the noodle, on top of the floor. Moving into our pranayama, our breath practice. One of the, if not the most accessible, simplest stress management technique that is always with you, so you can practice these breath techniques anywhere. Any given moment is, it's really such a valuable technique to remember that is always available to you. And so now, with your next inhale, really feel the lower belly. Inflate the abdomen like a balloon. Expand the ribs, then the chest. And with your exhale, simply relax the chest, then the ribs, and then the abdomen. At the end of the exhale, you can gently contract the abdominals to help expedite all the air out of the lungs. It even helps to release toxins, bacteria from the lungs. Continue to breathe. 3-part breathing optimizes pressure in these 3 main parts of body. And at the same time, begins to bring that pattern of regularity to the nervous system. Remember that part of the nervous system that corresponds with our stress response is synergized or links to our inhales. And then the part of our nervous system that corresponds with our relaxation response, or that stimulates our relaxation response, is our exhales. With that said, we're going to move right into our 2-to-1 breathing technique that focuses on your exhales twice as long. Just like anything else, it gets easier with practice. So I'm going to add a count at first. Then you can count in your head. And if your exhales aren't twice as long as the inhales, that's okay, as long as you're just working your way up to that. Wherever you are, empty out. Go ahead and exhale all the air out of the body. And inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale with control. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently engaging the abdomen. Good. Short inhale. Again, 3, 2, 1. Exhale it out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contract the abdomen again. Deep inhale, expand the belly. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it going now. Add counting in your own head. Maybe it's a different set of counts. Maybe it's inhales for 4 seconds, exhales for 8 seconds. Whatever it is, stay with it. You're in the right place as long as you're here with the felt sensations of this moment, which includes that experience of this breath, this technique that profoundly slows down the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, begins to soften muscles of the body. Longer, longer exhales. Now, you can still keep counting in your head, but you're welcome to add any movement if you haven't already, exploring the self-massage technique of myofascial release by moving the knees over to the left, back to center, and over to the right. Stay with your breath. Shorter inhales. Controlled, consciously long exhales. Letting go. Just taking a couple more breaths here before we move the noodle up. Full, expansive, shorter inhales. Long, juicy, extended exhale. Gently contracting the abdomen at the end of your exhale. It also really brings functionality to the abdominal muscles that work in conjunction with the diaphragm. So as you contract your abdomen at the end of your exhale, you're actually pumping oxygen-rich blood back up towards the heart and the lungs. Bringing your knees back to neutral. Whenever you're ready, keep breathing and just move the noodle or your two balls up to the sacrum, a flat surface area of lower back. It's a very hard triangular bone that actually has some vertebrae infused into it. It's the sacroiliac region. And this area of the body, so the hips and the lower back, link to our stress response. So it's one of the first areas of your body that will respond to that fear, that fight or flight instinct. So when we experience trauma, stress, the brain will send messages just all over the body really to react, right? To contract and freeze. But more particularly to this part of the body. Because energetically, there's a root chakra wheel that's located at the base of the spine, works to absorb and assimilate all of the energy that we experience in our world, in our inner world, that has to do with survival. So fear is said by some healers and teachers to be the demon of this energy center, because it invokes, chronic response, stress response, and the tissue becomes tight. Our fear, emotions really aren't processed and released. They will stay trapped in the musculature and the fibers of this part of the body and contribute to that congestion of tissue that ultimately really blocks energy and blood from moving in to the bones, to the joints, and to the muscles in this whole area. So really targeting the hips and lower back today, and just also your breath. So in conjunction, your breath with the ball work down here. It's also powerful. 2 techniques that you can do for 5 or 10 minutes a day to alleviate stress and all the tension, emotional and physical, that are derived from daily experiences. Keep breathing in, shorter inhales. Continue to breathe out, long extended exhales. And if your body already hasn't started to move, you allow the legs to move back and forth. Just exploring the left and right side of the sacroiliac region. Long exhales are a nice opportunity to Let it out. Whatever you're feeling could be trapped here, this part of the body. Let the exhale out with a long, extended ha or a hmm. Sometimes that vibrational quality of your exhales can surprise you with how much it releases. And take a couple more breaths here. Those of you more familiar with the practice, going a little bit deeper, you can hug the knees in towards your chest. Maybe doing one at a time. Just applies more pressure on top of the noodle. And then very slowly, bring the knees back to neutral, feet on the floor, about hips width apart. And then very slowly slide the feet in towards the hips. Point the toes forward. Arms off to the side. Breathe deep into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then breathe out in reverse. Let it out. With your next inhale, very slowly lift the hips up, pressing down through all four corners of the feet. Lengthen the knees forward. It's a gentle bridge pose. Tuck the tailbone in. Breathing here, keeping your chin in line with the center of your chest. Just one more breath, perhaps lifting the hips a little higher. And a very, very extended exhale, go slow to lower all the way back down. Back down onto the noodle. I haven't moved the noodle yet. Good. And maybe to straighten the right leg. And with an inhale, draw the left knee in. And as you exhale, use your hands to guide the knee all the way across the body over to the right. Allow the foot to touch down to the floor if it feels right. If it doesn't, because you're going to feel some deep sensation from the balls that are on the right side of the back of the hip, simply let the body stop when you meet resistance. Whenever the natural pause comes, pause there and breathe. So still look up towards the ceiling. Breathe deep into the belly, the ribs and the chest. With control, breathe out and exhale twice as long. One more round of breath. At the end of your exhale, engage your abdominals. Just to come back to neutral, feet hips width apart on the floor. Begin to straighten your left leg. Then take your time to hug the right knee in. Just doing the opposite side. As you exhale, guide the knee all the way across the body. Maybe allowing the foot to touch the floor. And maybe not, just pausing. When the body needs that natural resistance, please modify anything. It can be pretty intense. And always just back off at this point. Let your breath truly determine your edge. Breathing into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Extending that exhale out twice as long. Relaxing the chest, the ribs, and then the belly. One more breath. At the end of your exhale, engage your abdominals. Come back to neutral. Plant the feet, hips width apart. Lift the hips and just move the noodle off to the side. And rest for a moment. Straighten the legs. Close the eyes. Just give yourself permission to lie here, get heavy. Notice what you notice, and perhaps sensation across the lower back, the hips, or elsewhere in the body. Once you open up one area of tissue, more oxygen-rich blood, water, and even nutrients are allowed to pass through down into the legs or even up into your back, into the arms. Just notice the feelings. And take your time just to begin to hug your knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Gently rock side to side. Deeply inhale. Breathe in through the nose. Take an open mouth exhale for twice as long. Continue to breathe. Now gently push the knees out to the side. So use the hands to press the knees and the thighs kind of away from each other, stretching the inner thighs. Keep the sacrum grounded to the floor. Relax the feet. And then use the hands to bring the knees back together. Maybe with an inhale, extend the legs straight up to the ceiling and rotate out through the ankles. Going in one direction and then the other. Just encouraging some of that synovial fluid to move through these smaller bones of the feet and ankles. Encouraging some lymph and blood to pass down the legs towards the heart. Remember, the legs are lifted straight up. More blood starts to pool towards the heart center. So that signals the brain that the heart doesn't have to work as hard because there's a sufficient amount of blood in the area, also in the veins of the neck, the big carotid arteries. So everything starts to relax more, heart rests. And then rebend your knees nice and slow. Give yourself another hug, inhale. And with an exhale, roll over on to either side into a fetal position. Just pause for a breath or two. And very slowly make your way all the way onto your belly. And then slide the hands, once you're there, slide the hands under the shoulders. Moving into some very gentle cobra presses. So movement will be synchronized with the breath. Begin to hug your elbows in towards the ribs and draw the shoulder heads away from the ears. Relax the legs and just look down at the floor to keep the back of your neck neutral. With your next inhale, begin to lift the chin, lift the chest, press down through the hands. And as you exhale, lower the chest, and the chin, and then even your forehead. Bring the forehead all the way to the floor. Nice long exhale. When you're ready, inhale, lift up, lift the chin, the chest. Keep the shoulders back, hug the shoulder blades in together. The slow controlled exhale, lower the chest, chin, and the forehead. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lifting chin and chest. Press down through the hands. Lift. Exhale with control for twice as long. Go slow. Lower the chest, chin, and forehead. Last time. Inhale. Lifting the chin and the chest maybe a little higher. Press down through the hands. Hug the elbows in. And exhale it. Lower the chest, chin, and the forehead. Just relax your cheek to the floor. Bring the arms by your side. Wiggle the hips left and right. That feels good. And then when you're ready, slide the hands back in underneath the shoulders. And very, very slowly begin to shift back into a child's pose. So take your time. Separate the knees wider than your mat, wider than your hips. And relax the hips to your heels. Now, if you have a pillow or a blanket, it's kind of a nice prop to use here in a resting child pose. Putting the blanket or pillow on your heels. Just resting the hips down into the cushion. And bring the forehead to the floor. Extend the arms straight out in front of you. And rest. Keep breathing 2 to 1 breath. Keep following the breath. Feeling the belly press against the thighs with every inhale. And allowing the hips to soften back towards the heels with every extended exhale. And even checking in with yourself. And maybe asking yourself the question, granted that I am not risking any kind of injury or harm to the body in this position, can I let go of all resistance? Just accept what is, accept this body in this moment, this heart, this mind, what's going on within. And let it go. That resistance comes in many different forms. Physical resistance, so now releasing the tension that you feel still remaining in the body. But it can also come in the form of mental resistance, just persisting thoughts or feelings. Just kind of let go of that right now and just be. Feel your breath here. Begin to slowly lift the head. Slide the hands in under the shoulders, making your way into a tabletop position. Put the shoulders over the hands and the hips over the knees. Moving through cat, cow. You can separate your knees about inner hips width or hips width, whatever feels right. And patting the knees or the hands as well. So when you're ready with an inhale, simply relax the abdomen, extend the heart forward, shoulders back. With an exhale, round out the spine, drop the head, and gently press away from the floor, and maximizing spinal extension. Round it out. Exhale still twice as long. So you might experience a nice stretch in that cat position. Keep it moving, a few more rounds. Sometimes it's nice to close the eyes. So cat-cow is one of the more gentle somatic movements that can help stretch and alleviate muscle tension in the lower back, mid back. It's also really nice to do after myofascial release work, because we've already opened so many energy channels and tissue for stuff to move around. So this wonderful movement just further encourages that inner movement and optimizes some of the expansion and stretch of the tissue and muscle. And then, with an exhale, just come back to tabletop. Walk the hands forward, just a couple inches, and begin to make circles with the hips. And 3 circles in one direction, and 3 circles in the opposite direction. Keep breathing. And then, when you're done, back to tabletop. Very slowly, sit back into the heels. Lift up, nice and tall, bringing the shoulders over the hips. Reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Relax the arms off to the side. You can shake out the wrists if there's any kind of wrist sensations. Remembering these smaller bones and muscles. And from here, just take your time to draw the palms together with an inhale and extend the arms above the head. As you exhale, bring the arms out to the side. And then eventually behind you. Placing the palms, under this fluffy pillow, place the palms underneath the shoulders. So lean back into the hands and just point the fingertips away from you. If there's any knee pain or knee sensation, then you can come out of this pose, or you can pad the knees with a blanket. Breathe deeply into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Then breathe out in reverse. If you have room to go with your next inhale, lift the hips off of the heels. Holding it here as you exhale. Also, next variation, if you have room to go, is to relax the head back, opening the throat, continuing to press the hips up and lengthening the thighs and the knees downward. And with an exhale, release. So lower the hips back down if you haven't already. Just take your time, lifting the head if it was back. And rest. Slowly, slowly, gradually straighten the legs and shake them out. And then from here, bend the left knee, just a gentle spinal twist, interlace the fingers in front. Flex the right foot. And then just lift up nice and tall through the spine. Again, visualize that fishing string around your heart. So I'm pulling on that string, the heart continues to lift. Inhale. With an exhale, begin to twist to the left. And place the left hand behind the hip. Gentle spinal twist. Continue to lift up through the center of your chest. And with an exhale, come back to neutral. Opposite side, inhale, bend the right knee. Flex the left foot. Exhale right away, begin to twist to the right. Placing the right hand behind the hip on the floor. Gentle twist. Lifting up tall through the spine and through the center of chest. One more breath. And then release. Now, setting up for a final resting pose. I have 2 bed pillows today. And this is kind of fluffy. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have 2 blankets or 2 bed pillows, but what the thickness of the bed pillows do is that it helps to lift the center of your chest a little bit more as we lie down on top of them. And I'll show you how. You're going to place one right up against the buttock with the lower back, and the other one's a bit halfway off. But as you lie down, and everyone's different size, so you just have to modify as you need to. So right now I have mine kind of halfway off. And then slowly just lean back, straighten the legs, lift the chin up towards the ceiling, and bring the arms off to the side. Now you could have done a version of this. This is fish pose. Sometimes it's done with a bolster. Sometimes it's done just with a single blanket. And the idea is with 2 bed pillows, it's very comfortable. Lifting up through the heart, feeling the ribs expand, but also opening up through the neck. So wherever you are, come back to your breath. Take a couple of rounds of conscious controlled breath, breathing in for 3 or 4 seconds. Breathing it out 6 or 8 seconds. Using these last remaining breaths to truly just let go of any remaining tension. Heart and the body and the mind. With your last exhale, you simply close your eyes and rest. Now, without trying to control the breath, just giving yourself permission to just be. No matter what stresses lie in the past or future, or present. Can the mind now just sit back into your awareness, a place of passion and acceptance and peace? Now allowing yourself this period of rest, a sense of ease here in this position for as long as you need to. Or you can begin bringing movement to the body very slowly, and then coming back out, wiggling the feet and the hands, just eventually very gently rolling over onto either side, off of the pillows or the blanket. Gradually making your way up if it feels right. And now fully honoring the body and the language of the body in this moment. Just tending to its needs wherever you are. Be bringing the hands right on top of the heart, feeling the warmth and the weight, this body to body connection, and even honoring this gesture that shows gratitude for this body and this heart. And just remembering that it will continue to nourish your journey, the ups and downs, wherever it takes you. So I'm grateful for this practice. So thank you all for sharing your time with me. I bow to the teacher and to the light that shines in each one of you. Namaste.